Later, I appeared again to the disciples beside the Sea of Galilee. This is how it happened. Several of the disciples were there: Simon Peter, Thomas, who was nicknamed the Twin, Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other disciples.
I'm going fishing.
We'll come too.
So they went out in the boat, but they caught nothing all night. At dawn, I was standing on the beach, but the disciples couldn't see who I was. Fellows, have you caught any fish?
No.
Throw out your net on the right-hand side of the boat and you'll get some. So they did, and they couldn't haul in the net because there were so many fish in it. Then the disciple I loved said to Peter,
"It's the Lord."
When Simon Peter heard that it was me, he put on his tunic because before he had stripped for work, jumped into the water, and headed to shore. The others stayed with the boat and pulled the loaded net to the shore, for they were only about 100 yards from shore. When they got there, they found breakfast waiting for them, fish cooking over a charcoal fire and some bread. "Bring some of the fish you've just caught." So Simon Peter went aboard and dragged the net to the shore. There were 153 large fish, and yet the net hadn't torn. "Now come and have some breakfast." None of the disciples dared to ask me, "Who are you?" They knew it was me. Then I served them the bread and the fish. This was the 3rd time I'd appeared to my disciples since I had been raised from the dead. After breakfast, I asked Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?"
Yes, Lord, you know I love you.
"Then feed my lambs." I repeated the question, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?"
Yes, Lord, you know I love you.
"Then take care of my sheep." A 3rd time I asked him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was hurt that I asked the question a 3rd time. He said,
Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you.
"Then feed my sheep." I tell you the truth, when you were young, you were able to do as you liked. You dressed yourself and went wherever you wanted to go. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and others will dress you and take you where you don't want to go. I said this to let him know by what kind of death he would glorify God. Then I told him, "Follow me." Peter turned around and saw behind us the disciple I loved, the one who had leaned over to me during supper and asked,
"Lord, who will betray you?"
What about him, Lord?
"If I want him to remain alive until I return, what is that to you? As for you, follow me." So the rumor spread among the community of believers that this disciple wouldn't die. But that isn't what I said at all. I only said, if I want him to remain alive until I return, what is that to you? This disciple is the one who testifies to these events and has recorded them here, and we know that his account of these things is accurate. I also did many other things. If they were all written down, I suppose the whole world could not contain the books that would be written. Remember, in following me, you find purpose, and in loving me, you find life. Life that is rich, abundant, and eternal.